Hi guys, this is Miss Gold. Today's lesson is Module 6, Lesson 3, Understanding 3D Figures. Your outcomes for today are students describe three-dimensional figures built from cubes by looking at horizontal slicing planes. And basically this lesson is just an extension of what you did in the previous lesson of slicing three-dimensional figures. But this lesson is going to focus on figures that are built from three-dimensional cubes like you see over here. So if we look at example 1, it says, if you were to view this figure from different vantage points, what would you see? Imagine you look at each side of the figure from straight on and the top of the figure from directly above. What would it look like? Well, if we look at the figure from straight on from the front, so that's the first box we're going to fill in here, what you have to realize is that when we look at a figure from straight on, the three-dimensional aspects of this figure are going to disappear. So when I look at this from straight on, I'm going to see this side of each one of these cubes, and I'll see this one. What I want you to notice is that this right here is going to disappear, so I'm not going to see that when I'm looking at it straight on. So really these two are actually going to appear connected. We will see this figure, this one, and this one, and again we will not see the other side of this cube. These two are going to appear connected. So let's go ahead and draw this figure, and you guys can just sketch it the best that you can. So I'm going to start by drawing a cube, and let's duplicate it, and then we'll move it into place. So I'm first going to start by creating my 4 vertical cube faces. So there's those 4. Then I'm going to create these 4 going across, and remember they're all going to be connected because when we look at them straight on, it's going to be one-dimensional, so they're going to appear to be connected. So there's one. Let's duplicate again. And we have those going across. And then the last one I need is this guy right up here. So we need one more. And that one is now complete. Now if I want to look at this from the back, now we can't actually turn this figure around, so what we can do is just kind of imagine walking around to the back of this figure, and you can see while it looks slightly different from the back, the view in terms of looking at it straight on may not be that different, because when we picture this, you can see this block right here. This block is going to be the second one up, so we'll have one below it. So that's kind of like this block here and this block here. But above that, there's still these 2 blocks. And remember, when you're looking at it from straight on, there is no three-dimensional aspect to it. So you're not going to see this side here. It's really just going to look like a continuous line going straight up. So really, you're going to see this group of blocks going straight up again. And likewise, for these ones, we have this block. You're just going to see the other side of that. This block, you'll see the other side of that, and this one, and this one. So really, it's going to look the same. It's just going to be flip-flopped. So let's go ahead and draw that one. Okay, we'll duplicate and then move them into place. Okay, so this is the 4, but remember, it's backwards because I'm viewing it from the back. And then we have the 4 going, whoops, we have the 4 going across. And then we have our one up here at the top, but remember, it's being viewed from the back. Move that into place. All right, so now we have our view from the front and the back, and you can see they're really mirror images of each other. Okay, so let's try viewing straight from the left side and straight from the right side. So remember, you're viewing from this side, so you have to picture what are you going to see when you look straight on from this side. So let's highlight there. Now you can see I have 4 blocks going up, so I'm going to see those 4 faces. And when I look at those are going to be on the right side of my blocks. And then over here, I have 2 blocks going up. So really, I'm going to see 4 blocks on the right and 2 blocks on the left. Now, if I think about what's going to show behind that, there really isn't going to be anything because these are the tallest blocks in my view. And then over here, this block is going to be level with that, so I'm not going to really see this block is going to be blocked by this one, by this cube. And then these are all going to be out of my view as well. So let's go ahead and build that one. Okay, we'll duplicate and then move into place. Okay, so you can see here we have our 4 blocks. That's these right here. And then our 2, that's the other side of these 2 blocks here. For the right side, this is going to be similar to our idea of looking at the front and the back. So for the right side here, you can imagine looking in from this side. If I'm looking at this block, that's the same as looking at this block. But remember, this block is going to be, the view of it is going to be blocked by this cube. So this side is what I'm going to see. When I look above this cube, what I'm going to see is all of these. So again, I'm going to see a continuous line of 4 blocks going straight up, because remember, you don't see the depth. The 3-dimensional aspect is gone. So same thing here. I'm not seeing this 3-dimensional aspect here, so I'm really going to see 2 blocks going straight up, and this block right here is blocked from my viewpoint. So let's go ahead and build that. Now this time it is going to be opposite of what I drew before. So we have our 4 blocks going down on the left side this time. So move those into place, and then I have 2 blocks on the right. We'll move that extra one down for our beginning of our view from the top. Okay, so let's erase our highlighter marks there. And my view from the top, you have to imagine, let's highlight what we would see there. So I have a view from the top is going to involve this block here, this block, this one, this, and this. So remember, the 3-dimensional aspect of all of these is going to be gone. So I'm not going to see any change in height between these 2, nor am I going to see any change in height between these 2. So with these, I am really just going to see all of these 4 really connected as one piece. And same thing with these 2 here are going to be connected as one piece. So let's go ahead and draw those. Okay, so I'll start with duplicating. Okay, so notice here, I've got the 2 blocks, that's these 2 here, and then there's 4 going across, so that's this here, 1, 2, 3, 4, but again, you don't see the levels up and down, because if you're looking straight on, or straight down rather in this case, it just looks like it's all one level. You don't see the 3-dimensional aspect. And then these 2 here are these 2 here. And so that completes our example. All right, let's try one more example. Now this one is really the focus of this lesson, and it really goes into what you guys did in the previous lesson. We're going to be slicing parallel to the tabletop from this figure. Now keep in mind that means that we're basically taking horizontal slices of the different levels of this figure. So we're going to slice this level and this level right off, and we're going to look at it as seen from directly above. So if I were to slice off the top 2 levels here and just look at the bottom here, I want you to look at this carefully and realize that I don't see any block here. So if I don't see any block here, that means that there's only 1 block here, but these 2 here, I can see there's blocks built on top of here, so there must be a block located below these 2. So this must be 2 deep, and this one we can clearly see are 2 deep. So let's go ahead and build that top, or rather the bottom layer. Okay, so we'll move that up and duplicate. Okay, so the first thing I have is I have 3 going across, so that's these 3 blocks here, so we would see those. And then I have the 2 going back. And so that completes my bottom layer. Now the middle layer we can clearly see only has 2, so we are going to, let me duplicate and move it down. So we have 2 there, so that's my 2 blocks here. And for my top layer, we just have 1 here. So I'm going to take this one and we would just see the top here. So there's my 1. Now, what really is helpful, or rather one of the great uses of slicing these figures, is if you break them down into different slices, then you can really see what the figure is made up of. And so now we can get an idea of how many cubes make up this figure. So let's go through and count up the cubes. So let's see, in our bottom layer we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In my middle layer we had 2. And in our top layer we had 1. So we had 5, 2, and 1 for a total of 8 cubes make up this figure.